Hey, Rakowski, you're Swedish. That's Vikings, right?
Well, part of it, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this game is, it's about Vikings, so you should feel right at home.
Jotun means giant.
That's appropriate. For reasons we'll be seeing, of course.
The frost giants were called Jotuns.
They immediately introduce us to our protagonist.
So just so we're clear, I'm not allowed to start doing Muppet impressions, right?
Just for your information, this is not Swedish or any other Scandinavian language. This is, from what I can hear, Old Norse. I have actually read some Old Norse at university.
Oh yeah, it is specifically Icelandic, which is apparently the language that currently exists that is most similar to ancient
I don't
Norse.
know Icelandic, so it doesn't surprise me that I didn't recognize it.
Yeah, but you identified it correctly that it is very similar to the actual language that the Vikings spoke.
So do you have any strong racial opinions about the Icelandic curs?
No. They're good.
I do. I've been to Iceland and I love it. It's my favorite place in the world, quite literally.
No, it's just that I read Old Norse mythology at university, and I'm interested to see if this game is going to do something with it.
Yeah, you should definitely have a heightened appreciation for what they're going for then.
But if they don't have the story where Loki fucks a horse, then I'm not happy.
Well, I mean, that's got to be in there. The fact that Marvel did not include that in any of their 3 movies is...
Yeah, that story, that's part of the really screwed up, because he did it as a female horse. So he became pregnant, and his foal, that's a word, right? The spawn. Is the horse that Thor later rides.
They're probably doing that for the inevitable Avengers interquels that are coming out, like Rogue One.
He is getting his own solo series, so fingers crossed.
It may be Odin, actually. I don't. I might be mistaken on that one. So
I remember the horse is called Sleipnir. I might be fucking up the production, but
Sleipnir
had 6 or 8 legs. I think it was 6. 4 up front and 2 in behind.
Yeah, I'm
ladies.
Starting to. I'm actually not sure of that, how many legs. That's miniature, so that's actually not the part out.
Oh, no. I mean, when you get down to it, changed into a horse and fucked another horse and gave birth to a horse, kind of a big deal, let's be fair.
Thing is, among many Swedish...
Horses do it all the time.
Yeah, but you don't hear them bragging about it.
Amongst many Scandinavian culture, it's pretty much a dick waving contest. Who is the most? Which group of Vikings had the most influence on history? And I mean, Denmark got a good case with the United Kingdom. Norway got Ireland, Iceland, Greenland, and Newfoundland. But Sweden got Russia. Do you know what Russia?
They can have it.
Do you know what Russia? The name Russia comes from?
Moving really quickly?
No, it's from the Swedish Vikings from Roslagen. So it became Rus. The Rus were the ones who went to Russia.
I have actually heard that.
Yeah, and helped take over what is now Ukraine, the Kievan Rus, which is the precursor to Russia. But then, in an ironic twist, like a couple of 100 years later, Estonian Vikings came and burned down Roslagen when they had stopped being Vikings.
Yeah, from what I remember, a lot of that part of the world, the history boils down to, and then these guys came along and burned everything to the ground.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then 50 years later, these guys came along and burned everything down to the ground, and repeat.
It's like St. Patrick's. He's known for, amongst other things, banning slavery in Ireland.
I was going to say driving the snakes out.
Yeah, but then the Norwegians came and introduced slavery again.
Perfect.
Whoops. I think that's what we call a whoopsie.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Ireland got Dublin in the trade, so I think they're even.
So you guys are much more prepared with the history and the lore that goes into this game than I was.
You're just like, I just like the pretty colors, and I have an axe. That's it.
Yeah, quite seriously.
When I've been a history nerd since I was like 10. When I was 11, I read the Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. It's a really big book. That was what I did for fun when I was a kid.
Nerd alert.
Fuck
so
you.
far the game reminds so far the game just reminds me a lot of Bastion.
I think they were
but
going
without
for
that. Just without the old grizzled dude talking in the background.
Yeah, but they have the voice guy. I mean, they didn't want. I think they knew that it they made the narrator too big of a focus. People will just call it a ripoff. This way, they can still have a narrator, but also, not have something of their own.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started playing this game, up to this point, I really expected it was going to be a, isometric action game like Bastion. Because I played Bastion, I love Bastion. This looks like Bastion, but it is not an action game at all. Combat is not a thing. It'll be involved with the boss fights, and that's it. The rest of the game is exploration.
No, because I was going to say is, do you have to solve puzzles with an axe? Because that is the most Viking thing ever.
Oh, The Lost Vikings. Such a good game.
That game annoyed me.
My favorite Blizzard game still. And I'm still pissed that there's no, any new thing with that franchise for almost 25, 30 years now or something. Except for a hero in Heroes of Storm, I know.
No, I was going to say that they did release a sequel, which I think came out on the PlayStation 1.
Nope, Super Nintendo as well.
Oh, did it? Yeah, I knew it came out on the SNES, but I'm
and
sure
they gave
release.
They gave Sven werewolf powers.
Yeah.
They couldn't work carjacking into it, so they don't want to bring it back. Another name associated would ruin the brand.
No, they need to find some way to work in corruption, like in every other fucking Blizzard game.
I would be I would be a failure if I didn't mention that the horns on the helmet is bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, just so it's out there, so we don't get a comment, hey, why did you not mention that one?
Yeah, but they look so badass.
It's true. Yeah, I think the protagonist design is actually very, very strong, even though you can barely see her, you're so zoomed out.
He's supposed to be a giant, isn't he, since we're in a giant home, Jotunheim.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
she's the only human here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I forget her name.
To be fair, it does look like they have a beard from this distance, with the long hair.
Yeah. We get a better look at her. I mean, we saw her in the intro.
Yeah.
But, like I said, she's very insignificant in this world. You don't feel underpowered, but you're a very tiny speck in giant land.
Okay, so because if she were a giant, I would excuse the axe, because that axe is totally out of place.
Yep.
Where's my historical accuracy in this semi-tentacle? Okay, this is getting weird now.
Yeah, remember, this is supposed to be sent in Norway, not Japan.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we have Moomin as an example of Nordic Japanese corporation.
Ah, true.
Yeah.
Don't remember many tentacles in the Moomins, but then again, I would never...
No, but they were still... It was made by a Japanese studio.
Yeah.
Which I did not know as a kid.
This studio, by the way, is Canadian. Thunder Lotus Games.
Yeah. Newfoundlanders?
Quite possibly.
Or is it Newfoundlanders? They had some weird pronunciation.
Yeah.
Most people from that area I know just use the term Newfie, but I have heard it might be slightly derogatory, so apologies if that's the case.
I've actually never met anyone from there, I think, so...
I'm from Scotland, I don't know this shit.
Yeah, you're okay with getting people, you have a get out of jail free card, because nobody can imitate the Scottish accent without it sounding like a slur or mockery.
Or in some cases Jamaican, which is kind of weird.
Skinhead era.
I'm not kidding.
You recognize this mythical creature?
Actual...
It's a hobbit, isn't it?
So as we fight him, he gets larger and larger.
So it is a giant, a Jotun.
He will be. He's, I believe the mythology is a white. This is what the Nordic white myth is. I think I read that somewhere.
Oh yeah, since we're in the Barrows. Yeah, makes sense.
So he's a white supremacist then. Man, that shuffle.
We should just be glad that there's no bouncing little fat dude singing all the time and taking up 10 hours of gameplay.
Tom Bombadil?
Fuck you, Tom Bombadil.
So I wasn't sure if that was actually something in reference to my
It was
Hobbit
with
thing,
the Barrows
but-
and all that. But yeah, I'm one of the people who... there were many people who were mad that Tom Bombadil weren't in the movies.
Oh, fuck no.
I'm really glad, because, sorry, the books aren't fun to read at all. I'm not expecting, instant action, but sorry, but they're not actually that interesting.
I genuinely can't get through the books because every 5 pages it's someone going, oh, that's an interesting tree. I know a song about that. Oh, a diddly 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 dee 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 dee.
I knew that I wouldn't like them when the first chapter, half of it is about where the tobacco came from. And that's like,
Yeah.
alright, you're focusing on the wrong part. I mean, I like attention to detail, but you need focus.
Yeah, hyper-insular world building is something that has gone by the wayside.
Yeah, and I'm glad. I'm very
Some
glad.
writers can do it, like, I was reading Perdido Street Station by China Mieville a while back, or Mieville, I should say. And, like, a good third of everything in it is just plain world building. But it's more interesting than, and this is the type of pipe weed we smoke.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is where the barrels were made that contain the very beer you're drinking. Fuck off.
Like a barely fictional technical manual.
Yeah. Like, I do not need to know the world building elements of coopering.
Yep. That's the stuff that inspires you. You don't need to put it in the book.
Yeah, it's some things you can just take as read. No pun intended. Or maybe. I'm not a coward.
So as you can see, this boss fight is more threatening than it seems at first. Once it gets gigantic, its swing just covers the entire area, and you really are too slow to do much about it.
It's the Dark Souls of Norse mythology.
It would be if your dodge roll actually had iframes, which it does not.
Why did they give you it then?
What you have to learn is that there's a maximum or a minimum range on the swing of the white. So you just got to get inside that, and then you're fine.
If you are within his range of death, there's no way to use the dodge to actually dodge.
Right.
Okay, that's...
Yeah. You just got to know to get too close.
So what is the dodge roll mechanic for then? Mockery?
More or less, yeah.
Wow.
It'll allow you to cover a slightly larger space than you would be able to run in that time period, which is occasionally useful for some of the puzzles later on.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, the gameplay itself is underwhelming. Like, this is not a game that you play for tight controls and carefully crafted combat.
Okay, so now it's turning into Binding of Isaac. You got a Jera rune.
Jinnungagap? I do not know that term. Also, that rune, the symbol there is the Valknut, or
Yeah.
Odin's symbol.
It unfortunately has gained a bit of a reputation in recent days.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
It's
kidding.
like a tier rune. It's in Sweden. It's mainly known as a symbol of a neo-Nazi organization.
Yep.
Consider skipping this video because of the ruined reputation, but this game's from 2015. It certainly has no affiliation with that sort of bullshit.
Oh yeah. I mean, and in Sweden, the Asa true societies, the actual pagan religious groups, they have no tolerance towards Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah, people are trying to reclaim the ancient ruins, which is very necessary. I mean, the Punisher is also doing the same, so we're all working on it.
Oh, don't get me started.
I mean, the actual creator of the Punisher,
Yeah.
Jerry Conway, is doing a fundraiser for Punisher shirts that support Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Marvel are assholes.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely despise bullies. But I think we should bully these guys to the point where they are not allowed to enjoy anything. Like, I'm totally on board with that.
I mean, all you have to do is take away the things that they like, and they're done.
Yeah.
They whine too much.
Like, you're not allowed to enjoy this anymore. Fuck off or we'll hit you again.
So now we come upon our real Jotun.
Alright, and I see the design choice. Jera, which this map was called, is the harvest.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're chopping down vines. Again. Wait, did we just do that?
Yeah, the roots we've been fighting have been Jera's toes, basically. So here's the whole thing.
So you being giving her a manicure.
Yep.
Okay, this is getting weird. Just weird.
Oh yeah, now it's getting weird. Okay.
Yeah, the opening of the ballet was kind of the point for me.
I'm just vaguely confused about the lotus flower, because that's more Eastern traditions, isn't it? Don't remember much in Nordic mythology.
No.
Yeah, probably a bit of artistic liberty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if two human can get away with it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're playing what's it called? Viking exploration. No, a really good role-playing game that did not get the recognition it deserved.
Banner Saga?
The one from like 2 or 3 years ago?
It's from the people who made Conquistador. Expeditions Viking.
Ah.
I really recommend that game if you're into turn-based RPGs and history, because they got a bunch of details right. I mean, it's still mythological. They have like the whole a bunch of Arthurian stuff in as well, but they did very good on the historical details. And it's a fun game, if nothing else.
The random bits of exploration mixed up with huge boss battles thing as well reminds me of, was it Titan Core? It was announced as a game that was going to basically be the boss battles from Dark Souls with none of the quote-unquote boring bits.
Yeah, wasn't it called Titan Souls?
Titan Souls, that's it. Yeah, not Titan Core. Yeah, kind of reminds me of that.
I hated that name, but yeah. Similar to that.
I'm one of those weirdos that isn't a big fan of the boss battles but loves the exploration, so
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, nope, not paying attention to that.
And I like that the boss battles in this game are like, they're not combat based because the controls aren't designed for combat. So they're really more puzzle solving and timing and waiting for the boss to allow you to strike them. More strategic than action combat in a traditional sense.
And then giving him a tactical cesarean.
Yep. And they are beautifully frame by frame hand animated. Fucking Disney movies don't even hand animate anymore. This game does.
Yeah, I was playing the remake of Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap the other day. Holy shit, the animation in that is amazing.
That whole game's amazing.
Never heard of it.
It's a pseudo remake of a old Master System game. But the animation in it is all hand-drawn, fluid, it looks amazing.
Yeah, and it's such a frame-by-frame remake that you can literally turn on the old game.
Yep.
Like, it's a toggle in the game. You can switch to the old game at any time.
Unfortunately, because of it's being built essentially as a coat of paint over the original engine, the gameplay can be a bit finicky at times.
Yeah.
But looks astounding.
Still very good.
Okay, I must say, bit unimaginative with the name.
Yeah, I mean, can't all be perfect. It's a very small studio.
So is this meant to be the character narrating now?
Yes. She died in the intro, and now she has to kill all the giants. And maybe she'll be brought back to life.
Yeah, remember the majority of the Norse gods being very, very generous with that sort of thing.
Generous with what?
Oh, wait. No, they weren't.
When you beat one of the bosses, the line, "You have impressed the gods," appears on screen, which nothing feels better than that.
Okay. Should you then ask them how it went when Balder died? They're not really happy with that still.
Also, once we beat that first boss, we have complete level select. We can go to any level in the entire game, except for the other boss fights.
Is it like in Mega Man, where you unlock weapons to use on other bosses, or?
Yeah, sort of. Rather, the levels will unlock weapons that we can use throughout the other levels and the boss fights.
Oh, cool.
As we're going to see in this level that I selected because it's one of my favorites in the entire game.
Jormungandr. Nilfheim. They misspelled Nilfheim.
We'll write him in and get him to correct it. Don't worry about it.
We'll fix it in post, don't worry.
I'm pretty sure it may be that the English, I'm gonna double check that.
In English, I've usually seen it spelled or pronounced Niflheim.
Yeah, exactly. But I learned Nilfheim when I was Nilfheim or Nilfhem when I was in. But actually, they are correct with the English there. I concede that.
Well, the problem is that a lot of the pronunciations and ways of writing it tend to be interchangeable with a lot of things. Some go for the original, some go for the anglicizations, however you pronounce that.
We also have the issue that the runes don't cover the entire alphabet.
Yeah, and the fact that there's usually about a dozen or so different translations for everything to begin with, so it turns into a big spaghetti clusterfuck.
Yeah, and the Edur is not the only source. It's like the only source, but then they have other outside sources that are really weird. Like one of the primary sources of Swedish Viking says that in Uppsala they had a temple that was the entire inside pretty much was gold. That did not happen, and a lot points that he never actually visited anything close to Uppsala. I think it was Anders of Bremen, something of Bremen, Albert of yeah, he's very much a definition of citation needed.
I remember there was some controversy back in, I think, the mid to late 80s, where it turned out some historian had essentially been writing fanfic for the last 30 years. Someone went back and looked at some of his translations and were like, that's complete bollocks, mate.
Yeah. I mean, there was those guys who invented a bunch of mountains in the middle of Africa, because nobody ever went there.
I mean, that was basically most world traveling up until about the 1700s. Yeah, there's totally like 15 temples all arranged in the shape of a smiley face. Well, have you ever been there? Well then.
And the reason that dude from Bremen I mentioned, he was putting forth a report to push for the Christianization of Sweden. Well, pre-Sweden, but yeah, the area that today compromise southern Sweden. So it's pretty much, yeah, they are really rich, but they are pagans, so let's go in there and grab what they got.
That went well.
And every landmark was made by aliens. White people history.
Yeah.
No way these weird foreigners could do anything.
Yep. So every level you have to go find a rune, which we did very easily. And you have the option of going in to find a Blessing of the Gods, which gives you a new special power that you can use. This time it was Mjolnir, which allows you to do shitloads of damage to bosses.
So Mjolnir is Mjolnir, to be quite fair, is a blessing now.
I saw the Avengers, it's Mjolnir.
It's wrong! Also, it's not Loki, it's Loke. It's an E, not an I.
And it's Othin, not Odin.
Nej, det är Oden. Oden, Thor, Loke, Balder, Freja, Frej.
Fred.
Barney, Pebbles, Bam Bam.
Chef.
Happy Leif Erikson Day. I'm not going to do it.
Also, at this point, I'm just wasting time. I'm trying to go back to the entrance to this level, which does not work as an exit. You have to go to the menu in order to exit the level. Whoops.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, is Jormungandr limited to the areas that he can come out, or can you even hurt him?
Yeah, the big Leviathan, that is just indestructible.
Right.
He's just there to terrify you, which worked on me when I first played this game.
Doing a good job, I'll say.
That shit was horrifying. Like, the suspense they build right there. Really, really just heart-stopping stuff. Every single level is completely unique, has different challenges, different ways to explore it. It's awesome.
I like the design, but to be quite honest, not my kind of game. I probably would not get it.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but it is fun if it is for you. And it looks beautiful.
It does.
Also, this studio made Sundered was their next game, which was a Metroidvania with light, very, very light roguelike elements. When it first came out, it was kind of like it got mixed reviews. And then they patched it and made it much better with the Eldritch Edition. But by then, the ship had kind of sailed.
I thought it said Sundere, and then I got really worried.
So yeah, Sundered is pretty good. I've been playing that lately. I enjoy that quite a bit. And their next game is called Spiritfarer. That's really hard to say. Spiritfarer. It has a demo out. The demo came out last year. It's a management game like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley. But what you're managing is the ship that ferries souls to the afterlife.
Sounds cheerful.
Yeah, the souls that you're ferrying look like anthropomorphic animal people. And you get to make friends with them and then send them to their eternal slumber.
I'm so glad we had this time together. Well, off to Hades you go.
Yep, it looks very, very beautiful and very, very emotionally devastating.
Yeah.
But check that out. It'll be out by the end of the year. At least play the demo. It looks very, very good.